Long ago, in a village where acacia trees danced in the wind and children's laughter echoed through the mud brick homes, there lived a very special drum. This wasn't just any drum. Oh no. It was carved from the mighty baobab tree that had watched over the village for hundreds of years. The tree had seen generations come and go, their joys and sorrows, their hopes and dreams. And when it was time for the baobab to rest, it gave its all to create something truly special, a drum that would carry its spirit and protect the people it loved. The drum's hide came from an old, wise elephant who had lived a long, happy life. He had roamed the savannah with his herd, trumpeting greetings to the rising sun and swaying to the rhythm of the zebra hooves drumming on the dry earth. When he felt his time approaching, he walked beneath the baobab, lay down beside its roots, and closed his eyes, his final breath blending with the rustle of the leaves overhead. The baobab took this breath into its trunk, storing it like a precious jewel, and when it was ready, it used the elephant's skin to make the drumhead, connecting the wisdom of the old elephant with the heartbeat of the tree. The village elders knew its secret. Whoever played the drum with a pure heart would bring abundance to the entire community, bountiful harvests, healing rains, and protection from harm. But the drum had not been played for many seasons, and the village struggled with drought and hardship. Crops withered in the fields, livestock grew weak, and the river dwindled to a trickle. People started to leave, seeking a better life elsewhere. One day, while the village elders were discussing their dwindling fortunes, Kazi walked up to them. She was a kind girl who lived with her grandmother after losing her parents. Every morning, she would help the older women carry water, help the farmers with their crops, and tell stories to the little children. She had a special smile that could make anyone feel better. But now she wanted to help the village in a different way. She wanted to bring back the music of the ancient drum. Kazi had heard stories about the drum from her parents before they died. They told her it was hidden in the old shrine at the edge of town, a place where the baobab tree's branches brushed against the sky. When the elders heard Kazi's plan, they smiled sadly. "Little one, you have a good heart, but the drum has been silent for so long. It may not want to play anymore." But Kazi was determined. She thanked the elders for their advice and walked toward the shrine. As Kazi approached, she saw a group of boys playing near the entrance. They looked up as she neared and teased. "Hey, Kazi, what are you doing here? Are you scared of the evil spirits that live inside the shrine?" But Kazi didn't listen to their taunts. She had heard the drum's call, and she knew it was more powerful than any fear. Inside, Kazi found the drum leaning against the wall, covered in dust and cobwebs. As she walked closer, she could feel its presence like a living thing. Carefully, she brushed away the dirt, revealing beautiful carvings of elephants and baobab trees. Then she wiped the leather with a soft cloth until it gleamed like polished mahogany. And then something amazing happened. As Kazi's fingers found the rhythm, the drum began to sing with a deep, resonant voice that seemed to speak to every heart in the village. At first, the sound was faint, but as Kazi played, it grew louder and more confident, echoing through the dusty shrine. It was the music of the ages, of the ancient drum, the heartbeat of the baobab tree, and the wisdom of the old elephant, all rolled into one. That night, rain fell for the first time in months. The next morning, crops that had withered began to green, and the river flowed once more, swelling with new life. The people rejoiced and celebrated. They had almost given up hope, but Kazi had brought back the magic. But Kazi also noticed something else. Gold coins seemed to appear in unexpected places, left behind by travelers who arrived with generous offers for the villagers. At first, they thought it was a miracle, but soon whispers spread. Some said Kazi was blessed by the ancestors. Others grew jealous and demanded she share the drum's power. One day, Kazi went to the stream to gather water, as she had done so many times before. But this time, The other women stopped their work and stared at her. "Kazi," one of them said, her voice sharp like a broken potsherd, "you have brought good fortune to this village. But why haven't you shared the drum's magic with us? You can't keep all the good for yourself." Kazi poured water into a clay pot, trying to understand their anger. "I don't understand," she said softly. "I just played the drum, and good things happened." But the other women shook their heads. "You don't understand because you're just a child," another woman snapped. "The drum's magic should be shared by all of us. If it can bring gold to our village, why can't it bring gold to me?" Kazi looked down at her feet. She had never thought of the drum that way. She had just wanted to help her village, to bring back the music and the laughter. But she realized now that some people wanted more than help. They wanted all the power for themselves. Later that week, Kazi was sitting by the drum in the shrine when a traveling merchant approached her. He had heard rumors of a young girl who could bring gold to anyone who helped her. "Kazi," he whispered, holding out a bag of gold coins, "leave this village with me. Come live in my palace where you will have fine clothes, delicious food, and all the gold you could ever want. You won't have to worry about anyone here ever again if you just come with me." He showed her beautiful fabrics, bracelets made of sparkling jewels and combs with ivory handles set with diamonds. "If you come with me," he promised, "I will give you anything you want." Kessie stroked the coins in her hands, imagining all the good she could do if she had all that wealth. She could build houses for the poor, buy medicine for the sick, and food for the hungry. But as she looked out at the endless blue sky, she knew she couldn't leave. She was part of this village. Her grandmother's home was here. The shrine and the drum were here. And most importantly, the people were here. That night, Kazi sat with the drum under the moonlight and thought about the day's events. She placed her hands on the ancient wood and felt the heartbeat of the baobab tree, the memory of the sacred elephant, and the voices of all who had cared for the village. She understood now that the drum didn't belong to her or anyone else in the village. It belonged to everyone. True abundance, she whispered to the night, is shared abundance. The next morning, instead of leaving with the merchant, she gathered all the children in the village square and said, "The drum doesn't need just one person to make magic. It needs all of us." So Kazi began teaching the children to care for others, to share what they had, and to play music that brought joy rather than envy. Slowly, the entire community began to change. The drum's magic wasn't about making one person rich. It was about awakening the goodness already in every heart. As the children's hearts grew warmer and kinder, something wonderful happened. The drum began to play again, not just for Kazi, but for anyone who helped others. Soon, the whole village was filled with music, laughter, and love. They sang songs and danced together under the stars, and the drum kept time with their joy. And so the village prospered, not because of gold, but because they learned that the greatest magic is kindness shared. The drum still sits in the shrine today, waiting for the next pure heart to discover that true power comes not from what we take, but from what we give. The end.